Good afternoon, everyone. I know that there is a lot of work behind us. We heard a lot, received a lot, absorbed some, and maybe some still has to be digested within the next days. It was a really fruitful 2 days for all of us, I hope, and we could hear what 16 groups around Europe have done so far. I am privileged, and thank you to Leader Contact Point for this opportunity to summarize the topic which is a favorite of mine and on which I was thinking for several years already, how this instrument called LEADER can contribute to the governance in rural areas. So my focus is on governance and territorial achievements in LEADER Plus period. Although I don't have personal experiences working with implementation of local development strategies, I have many experiences working with people on the local level, and also I have been interacting with several local action groups in all member countries. So that's why I really was thinking all the time about the new era of maybe governing rural areas. Allow me to start with today and with EU strategic guidelines for rural development for this programming period. One of the horizontal cross-cutting priority is for all axes improved governance, which contains coherent programming, integrated approaches, integrated of regional and sub-regional development strategies, and in particular of the leader approach in overall programming. Question which I would like to raise to you now is this enough for having good ground for legitimacy of leader? This is a big achievement to bring improved governance into the horizontal objectives of EU strategic guidelines. And that's because of you, mainly. Because of your multi-annual achievements in implementation of leader approach. Not only you, of course, because there are many others around you. I mean, more than 800 groups in Europe contributed to this achievement to include this vocabulary into the EU strategic guidelines. And we should not forget it. What does it mean, governance in leader approach? As I said, I was thinking a lot about this approach and governance in it. Of course, I don't have final answer for that, but what I know is that it is definitely more than self-government. It's definitely more than management, and it's definitely more than money. What we heard during these 2 days, yesterday and today, about good governance. In order to summarize, I heard that good governance depends on the several issues, but first of all on the quality of local partnerships and networks. Because we are people, we are creating systems, and also leader is created by people, by their qualities and their willingness to cooperate and network with others. What I have seen in my life, and what I heard during these 2 days, I believe that only balanced and well-representative partnership can be a high-quality partnership for leader. But of course, this partnership shall be equipped with necessary skills, knowledge and information, with transparent structures and performance, shall be open to new groups of stakeholders. This we have heard a lot during the last 2 days. And also, it should be open to networks and cooperation with other partners worldwide. The second thing is local development strategy. And in this sense, it's really good to have a high-quality strategy, which can help us to implement measures which are addressing real needs and problems of the territory. That's why it shall be designed in a good logic. And of course, if you are talking about leader in participative and bottom-up way, it should allow interventions which well target problems of the area. And this includes not only measures but also finances. And it should be well accessible to broad spectrum of stakeholders which suit the targets. Of course, it should have a good monitoring and self-evaluation component and framework which would allow local action group to look back and see what they have done. On the third place, but not the last, of course, it is a management structure. We have heard a lot about management structures. And I heard several times that it's very good if management is well equipped not only with administrative capacities and knowledge, but also with consultancy capacities and plays a facilitating role in order to implement local development strategy. I heard also that management should really support real innovations, and it should be innovative itself. It should communicate, cooperate with various networks at various levels. Good governance, but also depends on overall framework regional and national governance systems, which are in each country rather different. And we can witness a level of centralization on this and decentralization in various countries. And of course, leaders should find a place within these structures. Let's think about it. What is then added value of leader in improving governance systems in rural areas? And this is basically what I heard during the last 2 days and reading synopses which were sent by Leader Contact Point. First of all, I heard a lot about territorial identity, pride and ownership, and I consider this as a first very valuable added value of leader in terms of governance. If you are not proud, if we don't identify with the territory and we don't own the development, the governance will be shaking. The second, multi-sector partnership and cooperation in the territory and outside. And of course, this is a very innovative approach itself, especially in those areas where hierarchy of traditional systems is still very strong. The next is sharing values, information, networks, trust and money. And this is very important for the improved governance systems, to share. The next, and I heard this several times, is a social inclusion going on far beyond the traditional hierarchy of the society. I think this gives leader a high legitimacy. And not only women and youth, because this is traditionally said, but also other marginalized groups which can bring insight of the development process. The word democracy. Democracy, for me personally, is not only voting during the elections. It's participating between. And I believe, and this is what I heard, and it was kind of two types of messages going on, that leader enables everyday participation on decision making. Maybe not only every day, but so-called every day. Many more than just voting. And opens the doors for more stakeholders into the decisions. Next is building up the valuable social capital and combining it with the natural, material and financial capital for the wished change of the territory. I could see that sometimes financial capital, which was just dropped on the territory, didn't bring a lot of added value. But if the social capital has been built, consequently, eventually it brought the financial capital on the more sustainable way than vice versa, many times. I believe personally, and this is my personal belief, it is a solution for 21st century. You know, the public resources are scarce, there are less and less public resources, and leader has proven effectiveness and efficiency of spending of public resources in countries where it was implemented. And once more, once again, in strengthened local democratic processes based on participation and partnerships. What can be threatening the added value of leader type of governance? We have heard a lot, and I attended the session before the lunch here in this room, and there was a lot of discussions on that, a lot of interesting discussions actually. So, based on what I heard before lunch and during the last 2 days, I can summarize following. About the lag level, questioning the legitimacy of leader approach, small money, centralistic approach, taken by local authorities, etc., versus supporting its legitimacy, it is because it provides the opportunity to improve the systems exactly via leader governance patterns. It's not good that we are all the time questioning legitimacy. Leader is opening the door for other instruments. It doesn't need to be just attached to leader money. The second, losing the autonomy of LACs. This is a really threat. And I think the more we go back to, the more power and decision we get back to national authorities or regional authorities, the less autonomy we leave with LACs, and the less solutions we leave with LACs, we leave them only problems. The next is various perceptions of mainstreaming opportunity. I could witness different fears regarding mainstreaming. One was to give more money to farmers. Mainstreaming means to give more money to farmers, only farmers. Another is maybe fear to centralistic approach. My understanding of mainstreaming was from the beginning, when I saw first time the regulation of European Commission. Oh, this is a great opportunity to make an integrated approach and take farmers, rather also farmers, than only the farmers. Farmers belong to that. And mainstreaming allows us to take also farmers in integrated approach, rather than leave them in sector approach all the time. Lack of vertical cooperation among various levels and sectors at these levels. I heard today in Irish section that there is a problem with cohesion. LACs have to merge with social inclusion partnerships. And I think if the social capital, which was created on the local level due to LAC system and due to social inclusion system, would be merged straight from the beginning because of cooperation among sectors on national level, nowadays there would not be a problem. At a LAC level, leader just an appendix to existing power structures. Of course, sometimes there is no way around, because the power structures are very powerful in money, in decision making, in institutional power, etc. But in that case, the possibility to open the door for participation can be very limited. Administration unit instead a development opportunity. LACs should not be just an administration unit. They should be development opportunity. And sometimes they are only administration units. Not opening the space for additional stakeholders, creating elites. I heard this also several times. Building up an unbalanced partnerships which are maybe focused only on one territorial unit, or there are mostly men, or there are mostly, let's say, rich people, or there are mostly only one kind of institutions. It can be also the threat for the future. Yes, I'm finishing. And of course, undermining the territorial capacity building part. We should, although we celebrate today, we should not be happy with what we know and what we can. The message. The leader across the 3 programming period has proven, and this was very visible across these 2 days, that it is the most comprehensive instrument of the EU policies. I'm not saying EU rural development policies, I'm saying EU policies, supporting the very innovative approach toward governance of rural areas based on the integrated and endogenous use of their potential. Delivering competitiveness, sustainability and quality of life in one package, with the possibility to tailor it to specific needs of particular rural territories. Therefore, it shall not only fill the gap of mainstreaming policies, but shall be provided in its full capacity as the valuable alternative to sector approaches for rural areas in all EU member countries. Thank you for your attention.